The auction house reeked of desperation and greed. Kareth stood on the platform, her emerald scales dulled by shame, wings folded tight against her body. The chains around her wrists were unnecessary. She had no fight left in her. Around the galaxy, dragons were prized for their strength, their fire, their ability to breed powerful offspring. But Kareth was infertile, a failure in the eyes of her own kind. Lot 247, the auctioneer's voice boomed. Female dragon, age 23 standard cycles. Infertile, but strong enough for labor. Do I hear 5,000 credits? Silence. Kareth's golden eyes swept across the crowd. Slavers, mining corporations, pleasure house owners. All of them had passed her over for more valuable stock. Her own clutch mother had been the one to sell her, unable to bear the disgrace of a daughter who couldn't continue the bloodline. 2,000. The auctioneer's voice carried a note of irritation. A hand rose from the back of the hall. Kareth couldn't see who it belonged to. 500 credits, a male voice called out. Rough but not unkind. The auctioneer's face twisted with disgust. 500? This is a dragon, not a— 500 is my offer, the voice repeated firmly. With no other bids, the gavel fell. Kareth's chains were transferred to a human male who looked nothing like the monster she'd expected. Eli Ward was weathered by sun and work. His hands calloused, his brown hair touched with early gray. He wore simple farmer's clothes, and his eyes held something Kareth hadn't seen directed at her in months. Kindness. Come on, Eli said gently, unlocking her chains. Let's go home. Home was a farm on the agricultural world of Verdant Ridge, far from the glittering core systems. The transport ride had been quiet. Eli didn't try to touch her or make demands. He simply sat across from her, occasionally offering water or dried fruit that she was too proud to accept. When they landed, two small figures came running from a modest farmhouse. Papa, they shouted in unison. Twins. A boy and a girl no more than 7 standard years old, with Eli's brown hair and eyes full of curiosity. They skidded to a stop when they saw Kareth, their mouths forming perfect O's of wonder. Papa, you brought a dragon, the girl breathed. Is she gonna stay? The boy asked. Eli knelt between them. Her name is Kareth. She's had a hard time, so we're going to be kind and give her space, understand? Both children nodded solemnly. Kareth followed Eli to a barn that had been converted into living quarters. It was clean, spacious, with a large opening that her wings could fit through. Soft bedding lay in one corner and the walls were painted a cheerful yellow. It's not much, Eli said, rubbing the back of his neck. But it's yours. No chains, no locks. You can leave whenever you want. Why? The word escaped Kareth before she could stop it. The first word she'd spoken since her capture. Eli looked at her with those steady eyes. Because everyone deserves a place where they're wanted. The first week, Kareth barely left the barn. She watched through the opening as Eli worked the fields with machinery that looked held together by hope and prayer. The twins played nearby, their laughter carrying on the wind. Sometimes they'd leave drawings outside her door, crayon pictures of dragons and flowers and suns. She didn't understand these humans. In the second week, hunger and pride finally broke and she emerged to find food. Eli was repairing a fence, sweat on his brow. He glanced up, smiled, and pointed to a table laden with fresh produce and cooked meat. Help yourself, he called. There's plenty. The food was simple but prepared with care. As she ate, the little girl, Maya, she'd learned, crept closer. Miss Kareth? Can I ask you something? Kareth nodded slowly. Why are you so sad? The question was innocent, devastating. Kareth's throat tightened. Because I am broken. My kind values only those who can carry on our bloodline. I cannot. Maya tilted her head. That's silly. Papa says we're not broken just 'cause Mama died. He says we're still a family. The boy Liam joined his sister. Yeah, and you make our family bigger now. Something cracked in Kareth's chest. Not breaking, but opening. By the third week, Kareth found herself helping around the farm. Her strength made short work of tasks that would have taken Eli days. She could plow entire fields with her claws, haul equipment that would have required hover lifts, and her fire breath could clear overgrowth in minutes. But more than that, she found herself playing with the twins, teaching them about dragon culture, telling them stories of her homeworld before the shame. They listened with rapt attention, never judging, only marveling. One evening, as the twin suns set over Verdant Ridge, Eli joined her on the hill overlooking the farm. Thank you, he said simply, for staying, for helping. The kids? They're happier than they've been since we lost their mother. I should thank you, Kareth replied. You bought me for 500 credits. You could have used me as simple labor. Eli shook his head. I didn't buy you. I freed you. There's a difference. He paused, watching his children chase fireflies below. My wife. She couldn't have more children after the twins. Complications. Some in town whispered she was defective, as if a person's worth is measured only by what they can produce. Understanding bloomed in Kareth's heart. I saw you on that platform. Eli continued. And I saw someone who needed to know they mattered. Not for what you could breed or build, but for who you are. Tears, something dragons rarely shed, gathered in Kareth's eyes. My people would call this weakness. Then your people are fools. Eli's voice was gentle but firm. The strongest thing any being can do is choose compassion when the universe offers cruelty. Months passed. The farm thrived under their combined efforts. Kareth's scales regained their luster, and her wings spread wide with renewed pride. She was no longer the broken dragon from the auction house. She was Kareth, guardian of the Ward family, auntie to 2 human children who loved her unconditionally. One night, as she tucked Maya and Liam into bed, a ritual she'd somehow become part of, Maya whispered, I'm glad Papa found you. So am I, little one, Kareth replied, her heart full. As she stepped outside into the starlight, Eli stood waiting with 2 mugs of hot cider. To families we choose, he said. Raising his mug, Kareth touched her mug to his, her smile genuine. To humans who see worth where others see only waste. To dragons, Eli countered, who remind us that strength isn't about what you can create. It's about what you can overcome. In the distance, the twin moons rose over Verdant Ridge, casting silver light over a farm where a rejected dragon had found something her own kind never gave her, a home.